Hey there guys, welcome to Tech Engineered. Today we're going to be taking a look at a vertical mouse from Anker and seeing if it really is better than your standard everyday mouse. So let's get started. I'm kind of curious. I want you guys to leave a comment on this video of what mouse you use and maybe even just what style of mouse you use, just because I kind of want to see how the distribution is of people using like MMO mice, content creation mice like the MX Master, or just kind of standard generic mice. So yeah, go ahead and leave that down in the comments below. First, let's start off with some basic specs on this mouse. It has all of your basic mouse functions: left, right click, middle click, scroll wheel, and it also has a forward and back button, and it also has a DPI shift button, which allows you to change between the two DPI settings that it has, which are 1000 and 1600 DPI. This mouse, of course, connects using a standard USB to USB, just like any other mouse. It's not anything special like a PS2 connector or anything like that, and both the wired and wireless versions connect through USB. Overall, the build quality of this mouse seems to be very good for a $14 mouse, or like a $20 mouse if you get the wireless version. We chose to just get the wired version since that's what we are used to, and really, yeah, the wireless version was just a little bit more expensive, so let's save a couple bucks and get a wired version since all we have are desktops here. One negative on the build quality though is that it does not have a braided cable, which is generally something that I like to see in a mouse. Given that it's only a $14 mouse, it's kind of acceptable that it doesn't have a braided cable, but still, that's a pretty cheap thing to do, and it really improves the durability of that cable and prevents it from accidentally getting kinked and whatnot and breaking a connection in it. Braided cables are just so much better than just a standard rubber sleeved cable. I also tested the mouse on two different tracking surfaces. One was a mouse pad and the other was the wooden top of a desk, and the mouse tracked just fine. It is an optical mouse, so that was expected, but no tracking issues with the mouse at all. It has a very good sensor, and I couldn't really tell a difference between it and my more expensive G600. So first, let's talk about my ideas on the mouse and kind of how I liked it and what I didn't like about it. To start off, I really enjoyed the mouse from a comfortability standpoint. My hand will feel tired using a regular mouse after a long gaming session, and to do this I tested it playing several hours of Civilizations 5, which is a very mouse-intensive game. That's basically all you use in the game other than the keyboard just a couple of times, and I didn't have any discomfort after a while of gaming, and I usually do have a little bit of like soreness in my wrist from using the mouse for that long, but the vertical mouse kind of eliminated that, so that's a good thing. One of the things that I don't like about the mouse is that it doesn't have enough buttons. In my usual computer use, I do use an MMO mouse, and I don't even play MMOs. All I do is I map different key bindings to the buttons on the side, like copy, paste, delete, and stuff like that, just to speed up my computer use and also my editing workflow. I have a lot of editing things while I'm editing video on the sides of my mouse, so I don't have to hit the keyboard shortcuts or anything to do it. I can just hit that one button on the side of my mouse and do whatever I need to do in my video editor just from my mouse. So in that area, the mouse really fell short and needs to be more programmable and have more buttons on it so that I can do things. It does have a forward and back button, but those are just forward and back, so you combine them in games, but using them in an actual computer program is a little bit difficult because you can't reprogram those buttons, so the program just reads it as a forward or back key press. I did give this mouse to my roommate to test out just to get another hand on the mouse essentially, and his ideas with it were that the mouse was kind of a strange move from a regular mouse and took some getting used to, and it didn't feel quite right and he wasn't as accurate with it, but after a while he got to enjoy it. He does wish that it had software on it so that he could adjust the DPI more finely and so that he can program the buttons on it and program the coloring on it. It does just have a red LED on the side of it, and that's it. So if you don't have a red setup, this mouse really isn't going to work if you're concerned with the color scheme, because you cannot program that LED. My roommate also complained that the DPI button was a little bit easy to hit, so he ended up, while he was playing games, switching the DPI on accident, and he generally doesn't want to switch the DPI, so that just kind of got in the way. If you are somebody who changes your DPI on the fly, then maybe having an easy to hit button is nice for you, but for him, he found that as a downside. I didn't necessarily encounter any accidental DPI button presses, but that might just be the difference between our grips. I generally palm grip the mouse, and he generally kind of does a claw grip on his mouse, so maybe that affected him accidentally hitting the DPI button, I don't know. But that is something to consider, that it is pretty easy to hit, so that could be a good thing or a bad thing for you. My roommate also said that the mouse was very comfortable and was an enjoyable experience. So if you're looking for a comfortable mouse, maybe try a vertical mouse. But in conclusion, I don't really think that the mouse is necessarily like years ahead of its time or anything in mouse technology. I think if you have wrist problems, it might be a good thing to try if a normal mouse doesn't work for you, because it might, solve your problems of needing to use a mouse, and normal mice just are not comfortable for you. But for the average user, I don't really think that this mouse is necessarily better. I don't know, you guys might want to give it a try. I'll have a link to it down in the description below to where you can go buy it on Amazon. But it was a cool experience to use a vertical mouse. It was definitely different, and it was pretty comfortable, so go get it if you want to. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like on it. If you like the content on this channel in general, go ahead and subscribe. If you have comments on future content that can be made here, go ahead and leave those down in the comments below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.